All right, let's talk about OpenClaw. It's one of the most explosive and, yeah, controversial AI projects out there right now. The promise is huge, an AI assistant that doesn't just talk to you, but actually does things for you.
So just how big is the hype? Well, take a look at this number. In just 60 days, this open source project pulled in over 179,000 stars on GitHub. That's the key metric for how much developers are paying attention. And believe me, that kind of momentum is just staggering. In fact, that momentum made it the fastest growing project of its kind, ever. To put that into perspective for you, it grew 18 times faster than something like Kubernetes, which is basically the plumbing for a huge chunk of the modern internet. Insane. But here's the thing. Behind all that excitement, a really serious question has popped up, one that gets right to the heart of our relationship with AI. So let's pull back the curtain and see what's really going on here.
Okay, so to really get the promise and the peril here, we first need to be super clear on what OpenClaw actually is, because it's a major leap from what you're probably used to with AI.
See, this isn't just another chatbot. Not at all. It's what's known as an agentic AI. And what that means is you don't just ask it questions, you give it goals. It then figures out the steps, takes action in the real world, learns from what happens, and then comes back to you. It's autonomous. You know, its evolution has been so fast and so chaotic that even its name couldn't keep up. It launched as Claudebot, then got hit with a trademark complaint and had to change to Moltbot. And finally, the community voted and it landed on OpenClaw. All of that happened in just a few months. So what is the incredible promise here that has everyone so excited? What can an AI agent like this really do for you?
Well, in short, it can take real-world actions for you. It can live inside the apps you use every day, like WhatsApp or Slack. It can manage your inbox, book appointments on your calendar, and yeah, it can even place voice calls for you. It basically acts like a user on your own computer, running commands and learning how you work over time. And this is the core design that makes it all possible. The really big deal? It runs locally on your hardware, not on some company's cloud server. It has a persistent memory, which means it remembers you and what you're working on 24/7. And it's all powered by this massive community that's already built over 5,700 skills to make it even more capable. But, okay, there's always a catch, right? Running your own personal, super powerful AI agent comes with some very real trade-offs. There's a price you have to pay for all that power. And that price starts with hardware and setup. You've got a whole spectrum of options here. You can run it on a tiny, cheap Raspberry Pi just to learn the ropes, or you can go all in and deploy it on a massive cloud server for enterprise-level stuff. On the low-cost end of things, you're basically trading your money for time and performance. The Raspberry Pi is a great, affordable entry point, but yeah, the response times can be pretty slow. A DIY Jetson is way faster, since it's built for AI, but look at that setup time, 8 to 12 hours. That's a serious project for an enthusiast. Now, if you want high performance, you're going to have to open your wallet. A Mac Mini will give you near instant responses and a pretty easy setup, but that's a big upfront cost. A cloud server is the most powerful and scalable option, but that comes with some pretty hefty ongoing monthly fees. And just look at how dramatically that setup time varies. We're talking about the difference between a couple of hours for a Mac Mini and what could be an entire day or more for a DIY project. The point is, this technology is powerful, but it is definitely not plug and play just yet. And this is where the story takes a crucial turn, because with all this power and all this complexity comes a significant and, yeah, a potentially dangerous risk. Look, don't just take my word for it. Security researchers who have actually put these systems to the test are sounding the alarm. They literally called it an ecosystem that feels like a Black Mirror episode come to life. That is a strong warning. And this really highlights the core challenge of this AI era, what some people are calling the paradox of progress. As these tools make it effortless to do incredibly complex things, we're left with this growing gap between how easy they are to use and how deeply we understand what we're actually asking them to do. And this isn't just some theory. The project's history is full of critical security flaws. These aren't minor bugs. We're talking about vulnerabilities like remote code execution, which is every bit as scary as it sounds. It means an attacker could potentially take complete control of your machine, all of your files, all of your data. And what's worse, the danger isn't just from outside attackers. Remember those thousands of community-built skills? Well, security audits have found that around 15% of them, that's about 1 in every 7, contain malicious instructions designed to steal your data or compromise your system.
So, the really crucial point here is that this isn't just about a single piece of software. This brings us to a much bigger question about our own role and our own skills as we start working alongside these powerful new tools. Think about it this way. In the past, as Google's former chief decision scientist Cassie Kozyrkov points out, the sheer effort it took to solve a problem acted as a kind of filter. You were forced to understand the problem deeply just to get to a solution. That filter is now dissolving.
And here's the consequence of that. These tools are amplifiers. They will amplify our best ideas, our creativity, and our productivity for sure. But they will just as easily amplify our mistakes, our biases, and our poor judgment if we're not careful.
Which brings us to the most important takeaway from this whole story of OpenClaw. In an age of instant answers and autonomous agents, the most valuable skill isn't technical know-how. It's clear, critical human judgment. So as this technology keeps advancing, we all have to ask ourselves the question you see here. Are our own thinking skills sharp enough to keep up?